You're watching Mirror now. I'm Amita Balachandra. Let's take a look at the top headlines. Yet another terror attack shocks Europe. Deadly van attacks kill 13 people in Spain's Barcelona. 2 accused arrested. Islamic State claims responsibility. Rave party raided in Udaipur. 8 men and 3 girls arrested. 12 arrested in Nagpur in a drug bust. A 16-year-old girl married off to a 65-year-old man from Oman. The girl allegedly sold for 5 lakh rupees. Menaka Gandhi, Minister for External Affairs. Sushma Swaraj as well. Take note. Mega Mirror now. Impact. Massive clean-up drive begins at Gorakhpur's BRD hospital. Wards get fans and a new coat of paint. This comes after Mirror now relentlessly highlighted the inhuman, filthy conditions in which patients were being treated. Oxygen supply was interrupted on the 10th of August because dues were not paid to the supplier. Indian Medical Association's explosive report places the blame squarely on former hospital principal Rajiv Mishra and Dr. Kafil Khan. 20 days after they lost their home, survivors of the Mumbai building collapse remain homeless. Government deviates from promise while offering alternate accommodation, offers accommodation far from their original homes. And flood fury continues to ravage Bihar. Incessant rain have inundated several regions of the state, displacing lakhs and killing over 100 people, more on the other side. Straight up to a top story we're tracking at this hour. Several people have been killed and dozens injured after a suspected terrorist rammed a van into pedestrians on a busy street in Barcelona. The incident took place in the La Rambla Boulevard area, which is one of the busiest streets in Spain. Police termed it a terror attack. The police is calling it a terror attack. Now, we get you all the details on Mirror now, but we have Viren getting us more details on this. Viren, tell us when did this incident happen and how many people are injured at this point?
Well, from what we understand, there have been 13 people who were killed, at least in Barcelona itself, after the attack by the van on Thursday, in fact. And aside from that, of course, you also have another incident which took place in another place which is about 120 kilometers away from Barcelona, where there were 5 attackers who were killed and gunned down by Catalan police. 4 of them were killed on the spot, and the 5th one, of course, succumbed to injuries. Now, aside from the attackers who were killed in that place, you also had a situation where you had 6 civilians as well as 1 policeman who were injured in the incident in that place. But what the situation that we now find ourselves in Barcelona itself is that the police, for the moment, have now taken hold of the situation. The situation has calmed down, but there are 13 people who've lost their lives as the investigation now begins to unravel. But what is vitally important is that the police are very clearly saying that the attack, which was the foiled attack which took place, was linked to the one in Barcelona, as the police now begin to investigate what impact it really had on the kind of were there any further elements who were linked to this group who possibly planning attacks anywhere else.
Also, Viren, after the 2004 terror attack against commuter trains that we saw, this is one of the deadliest attacks that has taken place in Spain.
It has, and you've seen, unfortunately, in the last few months, the sort of attacks, backed by whether backed directly or backed in ideology by the Islamic State. You've had a very similar sort of incident taking place in Barcelona. We saw the same thing pretty much in London, and this as well is along the same lines, and that's the worry that most law enforcement and anti-terror forces in these countries really have in, as far as dealing with ISIS is concerned, because you have the situations where the police find it very difficult to deal with these situations because it's difficult to, in fact, have intelligence when the attackers themselves aren't carrying very heavy weaponry, or for that matter, any sort of explosives. Because here again, you saw these terrorists operating with a van, ramming into people who were standing in the streets in one of the most busy parts of Barcelona.
Also, Viren, give us an update on what is the kind of security there in Barcelona at the moment. Okay, we seem to have lost the connection with Viren there, but this is the latest we're getting to you here on Mirror. Now, at least 13 people killed in this terror attack, the deadliest terror attack in Barcelona, and ISIS has claimed responsibility. Now, the Eiffel Tower dimmed its lights in the meantime after midnight on Friday to honor the victims killed and injured during the Thursday's terrorist attack. In homage to the visuals, the iconic tower shut off its lights at 12:45 a.m. and stood in darkness over the famed City of Lights. Officials typically turn the lights off at 1 a.m. according to the tower's website. Moving on now to news from Hyderabad. In a shocking incident, a 16-year-old girl was married off to a 65-year-old elderly man from Oman. The minor's mother on Wednesday lodged a complaint with the police, pleading the girl to be brought back to India from Muscat. Now, she also had refused to allow her daughter to be married to the sheikh, but the girl's father allegedly got a qazi to perform the wedding at a hotel. Union Minister for Women and Child Development Maneka Gandhi took cognizance of this incident and directed the Hyderabad Commissioner of Police to investigate the case. The minister has also written to External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj seeking intervention.
That the Sheikh has given 5 lakhs rupees to these brokers, which are very much close relatives of this victim. So immediately we received that complaint and we registered the case, criminal case. We are putting sections, rape case also, because she is a minor. Though she is given consent or acceptance, but it comes under rape provisions. Now we are taking steps with consulting of all concerned departments to get back that innocent girl to the India, Hyderabad. And we will take very stringent action against the persons who are directly and indirectly related to this issue.
Minor girl sold to sheikh there in a shocking incident. A 16-year-old girl was in fact married off to a 65-year-old elderly man from Oman. The minor's mother on Wednesday lodged a complaint with the police, pleading the girl to be brought back to India from Muscat. Now, she also had refused to follow her daughter to be married off to the sheikh. In fact, we have Zakia Soman on the phone line, a Muslim rights activist joining us on the phone line now. Ms. Soman, tell us this at this point in time. Shocking incident coming in there from Hyderabad. A 16-year-old girl married off to a 65-year-old man from Oman.
This is an evil practice which has going on, particularly in Hyderabad, for the last several years. In fact, it has been going on for the last several decades. And this is a criminal practice. It invites all the provisions of the law against child marriage. This is also, a practice which is like a sexual and social slavery for the girl. And I understand, rank poverty and desperation that the parents undergo, and they are forced to marry off their girls like this. But this is a criminality on the part of the man, and this is also a criminal kind of involvement on the part of the intermediaries and the family members. And we need legal protection against this, and we also need social awareness against this.
But also, Ms. Oman, here in this incident, the girl's mother has claimed that she had refused to allow her daughter to be married to the sheikh, but her father allegedly got a qazi to perform the wedding at a hotel. What do you do in instances like this?
Yeah, so we have been calling for comprehensive reform in Muslim personal law. We have been calling for reform and legal provisions to govern all aspects of marriage and family matters. So the Qazi who performs the wedding of an underage girl, the Qazi is accountable. The father is also accountable. Actually, the parents are accountable, the family members are accountable. And this is clearly a violation of the Prevention of Child Marriage Act. And it should also invite provisions of the POCSO. And apart from the legal provisions, it is also a huge social kind of an ill which has been going on in our society. And we have been campaigning against this form of marriage. Because marriage is an institution, marriage is a contract which is entered by equals. You cannot have a 65-year-old man on one hand and a 15 or a 16-year-old girl who is like, the age of his granddaughter on the other. So a 15, 16-year-old girl is not...
Absolutely. In fact, a shocking incident there coming in from Hyderabad. Ms. Oman, thank you so much for joining us here on Mirror Now. A 16-year-old girl was married off to a 65-year-old elderly man from Oman, and now the Union Minister for Women and Child Development, Menaka Gandhi, has taken cognizance of this. Away from that story, moving on to a shocking incident that has surfaced from Andhra Pradesh's Vijayawada. A minor girl approached the police with a complaint that her mother had forced her into prostitution. The girl's mother and her second husband allegedly harassed and forced the minor girl to go into prostitution. Unable to handle the torture, the young girl escaped. In the meantime, the girl's mother had lodged a missing complaint on the 5th of June. Paul joins us with more details on the phone line. Paul, here in this incident, what details can you get us? A minor girl forced into prostitution.
Well, like you said, absolutely shocking story from Vijayawada. In fact, Gautam Mani was a resident of UDA colony in Vijayawada, and it was her 14-year-old daughter who actually filed a complaint with the Vijayawada police saying that she was being forced into prostitution by her mother as well as her stepfather. And in fact, the girl had actually run away from home to actually escape. And then it was after that the parents actually went forward and filed a complaint with the Vijayawada police, a case of missing.
We get Paul back on the phone line, but this is the latest we're getting to you there. A minor girl forced into prostitution. Absolutely shocking case coming in from Andhra Pradesh's Vijayawada. Let's also listen in to the ACP.
Girl's mother was a complainant. Her name is Gautam Mani. During the initial phase of investigation, she was not very cooperative. So when we asked her regarding the details of whether if she's carrying, her daughter is carrying any cell phone, or in case if she has got any other acquaintances, the mother was very reluctant to share the information. So the mother and the stepfather, whose name is Mallikarjun, they tried to push this girl into prostitution. And this girl, she fed up with her mother, she left the house and she escaped from there. And she went and married one of her, her boyfriend. And he's a major, but because this girl is a minor, it comes under this Child Marriage Act as well. So we have apprehended mother, father, and even the person who got married to her.
In other news now, Mirror Now has been constantly talking about the spread of drugs, and it is worrisome use by school and college students. What you see on your screen right now is two visuals showing exactly this frightening reality. First, visuals of Rajasthan's Udaipur, where police busted a rave party. Second, visuals of Maharashtra's Nagpur, where the city crime branch arrested 12 people who supply cocaine. Let's first go to Udaipur. Udaipur police busted a party and arrested 11 people, including 3 women, after raiding a farmhouse premises in Udaipur. According to reports, more than a dozen people jumped the wall and fled from the spot as the cops got inside the building. Allegedly, most of the arrested are rich businessmen from Gujarat who had gone to the temple town to have darshan on the occasion of Janmashtami. Now, the farmhouse reportedly belonged to a Gujarati family. The participants were being served costly liquor, and they were girls who had been called from Pune and Mumbai.
आज हमको लेट थोड़ी ये सूचना मिली कि सुखेर सर्कल में डांगियों का गुड़ा करके एक जगह है, वहाँ पे एक फार्म हाउस है, वहाँ पे रेव पार्टी टाइप कुछ चल रहा है, जिसमें कुछ लड़कियाँ भी हैं जो बाहर से आई हुई है और कुछ पुरुष लोग हैं जो इस तरह की एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं। वहाँ मौके से अभी तो हमने 8 लोग और 3 लड़कियाँ हैं जिनको लेकर आए हैं और 2 से 3 गाड़ियाँ हैं। मौके पे हो सकता है और भी गाड़ियाँ हों और शायद और भी लोग अभी छिपे हुए हों, तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन जारी है।
In the meantime, the anti-narcotics squad of Crime Branch busted a high-profile drug racket, arresting 9 people, including drug dealers and addicts. Cops also seized cocaine worth 48,000 rupees, mobile phones, cash worth 2 lakh rupees and a car worth 10 lakh rupees from the arrested. The 9 accused included youngsters from very rich families, some suspects in dabba training and cricket bookies.
कुछ लोगों की हमें जानकारी थी कि कुछ कोकेन जो ड्रग है, नार्कोटिक ड्रग्स, वो कुछ लोग सप्लाई कर रहे हैं, कोई ले रहे हैं। ऐसी जानकारी मिलने के बाद हमारी टीम वहाँ गई तो वो सब वेरीफाई करने के बाद पता चला कि उस गाड़ी में वो कर रहे थे, तो गाड़ी पकड़ा हमने। वो सियाज गाड़ी थी। कॉलेज गोइंग भी लड़के हैं 2-4, कोई बिजनेसमैन के बहुत लड़के हैं, कोई मतलब सेल्फ एम्प्लॉय भी है, तो हर तरह के। लेकिन जो लड़के पकड़े गए, जो आदमी पकड़े गए, उसमें ज़्यादातर वो लोग जो हाई प्रोफाइल सोसाइटी है, सब जो सो कॉल्ड वहाँ के सभी लोग हैं।
Moving on now to our continuous Gorakhpur coverage. It's been over a week since Mirror Now has been camping at the BRD hospital. Without losing sight of the crisis unfolding at the state-run hospital, we've been asking tough questions, highlighting the gravity of the problem. And now the Uttar Pradesh government has been forced to act. A clean-up drive has been initiated at the hospital. New fans have been installed at critical wards that lacked the basic amenities, and walls are getting a fresh coat of paint. Ashwarya Palawal, who's been tracking the story from day one, files this report.
Nearly a week after 63 children died in Gorakhpur's BRD hospital, Mirror Now's relentless coverage is bearing fruit.
Yesterday we had shown you how there was a lot of garbage here. There were many plastic cups, there were many polythene bags. All of them were littered all around. Now I'll ask my video journalist Amit to pan and show you that this place has actually been cleaned up.
This comes after Mirror Now went on ground, camped at the hospital and exposed the apathy and indifference patients are subjected to. Garbage piled up in corridors, filthy, unswept wards, choked, overflowing toilets, and animals loitering in the hospital. And shockingly enough, poor ventilation and no fans in the encephalitis ward. After Mirror Now raised the issue 2 days in a row, the state finally got its act together. Corridors were swept clean, walls got a fresh coat of paint, but the cleanup act merely scratches the surface.
अपना स्टॉक जैसे ऑक्सीजन के बारे में बताया गया तो उसका वेल स्टॉक हमारे पास है। हम लोगों ने एक चेन बना रखी है, हम चाहेंगे कि वो चेन हमारी मेंटेन रहे।
So in this report, Pushpa Sales Private Limited has been found guilty of stopping oxygen supply. Dr. Satish, who's the HOD of anesthesia, has been guilty of not acting on reminders of Kapil Khan and procuring oxygen.
Critical questions are still left unanswered. It's been over a week, but there is still no clarity on how exactly 63 lives were lost that night. The district magistrate's report that Mirror Now has accessed blames the oxygen firm, the principal and the head of anesthesia for the massacre. What about all the top officials who were informed that the hospital owed money to the oxygen supplier? What concrete action is being taken to ensure that patient care improves at the hospital? And why no compensation yet for those who have lost their loved ones to the killer negligence of a few government officials? Mirror Now report.
In fact, the cleanup has begun, but the probe into the massacre that claimed 63 lives is far from over. Mirror Now has now accessed an explosive report from the Indian Medical Association that admits to the disruption of oxygen supply on that fateful day. The report also places the blame on former hospital principal Rajiv Mishra and Dr. Kapil Khan from the pediatrics department. However, shockingly, the report gives the government a clean sheet.
But at this moment, our concern is the epidemic which is going on and some of the lessons learned. One of the lessons learned is at a national level, no payment of vendors should be withheld. It should be paid in advance. Second is all essential supply of drugs, investigations and oxygen. 1 week stock is a must. That's the second thing. Some basic report will come by 5 o'clock today.
In the meantime, crimes in Uttar Pradesh don't seem to end. A girl was shot dead on Thursday by 2 bike-borne assailants in Shahiabad area of Ghaziabad district. She died on spot after 2 rounds of bullets were fired at her. Both the accused are still on the run. Police investigation continues.
ये सूचना मिली कि वो 2 लोगों से बात कर रही थी, 2 लड़के हैं और फिर उसी में से 2 लड़कों में से एक लड़का उसको 2 गोली मार के चला गया, अस्पताल ले गए जहां पे उसकी डेथ हो गई। तो हम लोग यहां उसके कमरे पे आए, उसके कमरे से ही हमें ये जानकारी मिली कि वो कहां के रहने वाली है। उसके परिजनों से संपर्क कर रहे हैं और ये हम लोग प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि उसका क्या है, किससे वो संपर्क में थी ताकि आगे जांच बढ़ सके।
On to news from Mumbai now. Almost 20 days after Siddhi Sai building collapsed in the city, killing 17, the survivors remain homeless. Most of them have rejected the government's offers of temporary homes in Bandub and Kanjur Marg. Mirror Now reporter Disha Shah spoke to BJP MLA Ram Kadam, who said that the government had tried their best, but there are no flats available in Ghatkopar.
July 25th, 2017. In under 10 minutes, Ghatkopar's Sai Darshan Housing Society collapsed like a pack of cards, killing 17 people, injuring over 50, leaving many homeless. Now, a week later, highly placed sources in the BMC tell Mirror Now that the accused, Sunil Shitab, had faked a structural audit report to get permission to redevelop the building.
Sunil Shitab had carried a structural audit of the society way back in 2015 and had submitted false reports categorically stating that the building is weak and it needed urgent renovation.
Residents of the Sai Darshan Housing Society had also commissioned a counter-structural audit, a copy of which is with Mirror Now. This clearly shows the building was structurally safe and in need of minor repairs that were carried out. However, Shitab allegedly went ahead with his renovation to turn the nursing home into a bar, an act that allegedly led to this colossal man-made tragedy.
Total 15 flats है। 15 फ्लैट्स में से शीतप के 4 फ्लैट्स छोड़कर उसने खुद बोला कि मेरे फ्लैट का मत करो, तुम लोग, मैं अलग से करूंगा।
क्लैरिफाई करना चाहूँगी, जो यहाँ पर मुझे देख पा रहे हैं या मेरे बिल्डिंग वालों को देख पा रहे हैं, बिल्डिंग वाज नॉट इन अ डेंजरस कंडीशन।
Mirror Now's expose reveals shocking lapses, raising questions that the government and the civic body have to answer. While the Chief Minister has promised temporary relief, victims will get temporary accommodation, apart from the ex gratia promised by both Fadnavis and Narendra Modi. The aftermath of the man-made tragedy is agonizing.
वहाँ पर मेरे ज़मीन के नीचे सब वाइबल हो गया पूरा, और बाहर लेफ्ट साइड से आवाज़ आने लगा विंडो की तरफ से कि भागो भागो कि बिल्डिंग गिर रही है। और जैसे मैं भी बाहर सीढ़ियों की तरफ उतरने लगा, उस टाइम पे सीढ़ी वहाँ पर धंसना चालू हो गई, यानी स्टेयर केस जो भी था वो धंसना चालू हो गया था। और मैं दरवाजे से जस्ट बाहर आया था और ऐसा करके खाली मैं हाथ मैंने ऊपर करके आई राजा उदो उदो बोल के ऐसा जस्ट नीचे आया हूँ, विदिन 2 सेकंड के अंदर पूरी बिल्डिंग कोलैप्स हो गई है।
Mirror Now investigations reveal the rot within, corruption that killed 17 people and rendered several homeless. Despite glaring proof, why is there no action taken by the government apart from the initial face-saving arrests? Mirror Now report.
That's all the time we have on this bulletin. Stay with Mirror Now.